Hi. Hello, hello. Hi, everybody. Um, Welcome. I'm so excited to get to talk to you today. Um, we are going to be speaking with my dear friend Vicky Vlachonis, and I'm just really excited to share her wisdom and her positivity with you all because I think we all need it right now. So let's wait to see when she clicks in and we'll get started. I've missed you too. Thank you. I'm going to do my best to read all the messages as they're coming in and answer your questions as well. I will do my best. Thank you. Vicky, where are you? Is she coming? Hi, what's my favorite quarantine project? Okay, you're asking me questions already. Wait. Thank you. I'm wearing my happy blue dress. I've had this dress a long time, and it always just puts me in a good mood. Where is she? There she is. Let's see. You coming in, Vicky? It's coming in. We're waiting. It's connecting. Hi.
How are you? Sorry, my
And
my Wi-Fi was playing up.
no, I know. This morning I'm having a little technical pulling it together myself. How are you, my dear?
I'm good, my darling. Always good to see you. Always good to talk to you.
I know. Always good to see you. I was just saying, as people were arriving, how excited I am to just be able to, I feel like, share you with some of, the wonderful friends and people that I've met through Instagram and all these years, and who are all over the world and who are always checking in and asking, how am I getting through this? What am I doing? And so I just feel like you're one of my secret friends that I can call in times of need. And so I'm very happy to be able to just, share your wisdom with everybody. So for those of you that don't know, Vicky is a European osteopath. She's a health and wellness expert for over 20 years. She has been on tour with Katy Perry, Lady Gaga, many other people. She has an extensive resume of people that she works with and brings love to their life and everything. And her mission has always been to just make people feel better and through finding and living their truth. And she does that through many different ways. A lot of it is just her spirit. And also, I think just all your experience and I think your perspective on health, emotional health, physical health, and how we achieve those together. We met about 5 years ago through Gwyneth Paltrow, and then we worked out together at Tracy Anderson and have become friends. And I was lucky enough to sit with Vicky I don't know, maybe it was a week or two before the pandemic hit. And we had this wonderful lunch out in, a sunny patio. And I was saying how just beautiful and bright Vicky looked, just her skin and her hair and her body. She just really has that, the discipline that most of us crave. I know I do, to be able to sort of keep things on track when we're feeling a little bit out of sorts. And so now this pandemic hit, and I called Vicky several times to check in. And in one of our last conversations, we both thought it would be really great to be able to reach out to others and have that same continued conversation about how do we stay positive and how do we stay connected emotionally and physically. How do we take care of ourselves? Because I think that this time has been challenging for everybody in many different ways, whether you're a single mother at home with your children, which you are, whether you are at home even with your husband, which I am, and that's got challenges, whether you're in an apartment somewhere in the world and you can't get out. Whatever the challenges are, I think we all need a little bit of encouragement. And I know that I have days that are rougher than other days. There's some days that I feel an overwhelming kind of blue feeling that takes over. And then other days I'm full of energy and I feel like I have all these things I want to get done. So it's hard. But one of the things that we were talking about is, so we had phase one, which was the grief, the shock, the feeling of panic when this all started and not knowing what was going to happen. And now we're moving into phase two, if that's what we want to call it. And in phase two, I think there's so many other things that are coming up for people. And so my first question to you is, one, how are you dealing with the pandemic at the moment? And since we don't have a clear resolution, we don't really have an idea. I mean, we know that the orders are being lifted, but we're all still a little bit nervous about, do we go out, do we not, and all of that. How do you deal with the uncertainty? And obviously, we're all in different countries, so we don't know how each country or each state is dealing with it. But what do you do for yourself daily to help yourself emotionally and physically?
Wow, that was a great intro and lots of positive energy. I mean, you are such a positive, grounding, calming human being. And
thank you, my love.
I'm humbled.
Doing my best, doing my best.
I think, to be honest, I think this is a very life-altering period for all of us. And this whole uncertainty, what I've realized is I think people need to rethink their lives and go into a deep dive, and we have more time now. And, you know, for me, as soon as I wake up, I have that meditation. So I've got to set an intention, especially if somebody's triggered me or somebody's upset me or I've woken up and okay, Vicky, now just sit with yourself before the kids wake up, before I set breakfast or anything. I've got to set that intention, bring that warmth, that love into my heart, my mind, deal with it with a positivity. So the meditation kind of sets me off for the day. Because if I don't do that meditation and I allow, you know, we all have our ups and downs, and especially now, I think this is the time if we can actually go into that deep wholeness, deeper wholeness, like dig deep and realize, where am I in my life? What do I want to change? You know, I always talk about finding your passion, your purpose, and giving back, but maybe this is the time to give back to ourselves first and have a routine. So if it's meditation, or if it's the treadmill, or if it's sweating it out, like moving your body to bring in that positivity, meditating and setting an intention, saying, I'm not going to allow that fear. Everybody has their issues. So either with their husband, ex-husband, maybe they don't like their work. And now this pain has to turn into potential and power. And this empowerment, I feel, is to help us, you know, look at it from a more positive perspective. You know, a friend of mine called me yesterday. Her father passed away, but she said, I know it's so difficult, but if I didn't have this lockdown, Vicky, and I didn't have these last 2 months, I am so blessed. I would have been teaching in the school. I wouldn't be there to hold his hand, receive that last breath and feel so much love. Even the pain, it was just being humble, going deeper, connecting, as you said, physically, emotionally, but spiritually. You know, when I meditate, I connect with that higher power. Whatever you believe in, God, the universe, angels, saints, somehow just, you know, even talking to you, I always feel excited, but I feel grounded. So I have my tribe of people that I'll call.
Right. And that's one of the things I was going to say is I feel so grateful to have someone like you who I can call and when I'm feeling in a funk and just sort of go, wait, get me out of my own head. I think that people are spending a lot of time in their own head, feeling the anxiety, feeling the stress of whatever that is that they're going through. And I do think that we have to work really hard to find that tribe, that those people. I talk to a lot of friends who don't reach out to people. They feel very isolated, physically and emotionally. And I think that we all have to work really hard to do that. That's one of the reasons I felt really compelled to do this today was because I felt so inspired by saying, you know, I get to call you and get this. I want to share this with people. I want people to feel that as well, because I think, you know, when you talk about meditation, I always meditated on and off over the years, but I was never consistent every day. I found it hard. Sometimes I'd be rushing. I didn't find the time. I would just not have the focus and the discipline to do it. And after speaking with you weeks ago, I decided that I would really wake up every day and I would do it. And I want to say to people who have never done it that now on the internet, more than ever, everyone is offering free meditation classes. I mean, there are free meditation apps that you can go on. There are all sorts of methods of, even, by the way, wherever you are, just sitting quietly and waking up and having gratitude, or making a list of 5 things that you're grateful for. They truly do help, I feel, and tell me if you think I'm right, help you wire your brain to think in a more positive way, help you kind of create an intention for your day. Even if that intention is, I'll give you an example. My son was having a hard time with online learning. He was getting frustrated. And one day I woke up and I said, you know, he needs me. And my whole day, the only thing I'm going to do today is be emotionally present and available for him, to show him that we can get through it. It's not easy. He's never done it before. It's hard to learn on the computer in the 3rd grade with other children making noise. It's hard. So I'm going to be there for him, and I'm going to answer his questions, and I'm going to be nearby. And that was my goal of the day. And when the day was over, I felt really whole about my day. I didn't have anxiety that there was all these things I didn't get done. I didn't feel overwhelmed by that. So sometimes it's a very simple thing that we have to give ourselves, that I think meditation provides people. And I don't think that you need, you know, you need a fancy gym or a fancy teacher to do it, right?
Or you don't need to go to the mountain to meditate. You could just do it in your bed. You could just sit with yourself, connect with your breath. You like sit on a chair, anywhere, sit outside, close your eyes with a bit of sunshine for 15 minutes. And so I think when you set your intention, I mean, you spent that whole day with your son.
Right.
This emotion, acknowledging it. And also at the end of the day, you empowered him. This love it's a way of giving back. I think this is the time where we can say, okay, I'm going to give back to myself, but maybe I have to give back more to others. So for me, my job is people focused. I want to help people feel better. I need to connect with people. If I don't give, I feel lost. Like this gift of giving that keeps on giving. Because I think when you find your passion, your purpose, and obviously if you have kids or you have a job that you love, or there's something about this giving that we keep talking about. So you're giving to your son something you couldn't give, before lockdown, because you were busy and we would focus on that. But I could
give a half an hour or an hour, but I couldn't really be only in that. Right? I couldn't just be present just in that, because we're so busy all the time.
Running fast, planning the next holiday. And now this is what we need. We need to enjoy the moment. Like people say, mindfulness, the moment, be present. But now we can be present. We can enjoy this moment and say to ourselves, okay, maybe there was something I didn't like about myself. Like I called a friend and she was really negative, and I was like, she kept saying, I did this and I was like, and she's Greek, and it's I is ego. And I was like, it's all ego. Let's try and maybe call your mum. It's okay if she was angry and she wasn't there for you. Let's dive deep and let go of this pain that's not serving you anymore. And let's be vulnerable. Let's talk about our fear. Let's talk about our anger. Let's talk about these emotions that we haven't had time to call a therapist, call a friend, and be vulnerable and honor this beautiful brokenness.
Yeah. Yeah. And also, I mean, for those of us that have read your book, and I highly recommend your book, the body doesn't lie. It's, you know, you deal a lot with the mind body connection, and how, particularly now when we're all working to keep our immune systems up and stay healthy, so that, you know, that we can have a strong immunity during this period. Where we are mentally does affect our physical health, and it does go together. So whether that's meditation or working out or doing something that makes you happy, I think it's really important that we all find the time and really carve out the time every day to do that for ourselves. Right? I mean, what are some tools that you recommend, or how do I say, what are some, if you're feeling that sense of like loss of control, not knowing how to navigate the world right now, you know, there are days where I wake up, I feel just overwhelmed by the misinformation coming in. I feel like my energy becomes a bit, I get negative, I get sad. And if I feel that way, what are some tools that you recommend, or what are some, you know, things that you do?
I need to move to feel better. So I have to do some form of exercise, even
Okay.
if it's my 5 Tibetan poses, the yoga poses. This morning I did, so I have to give myself an hour of either going for a walk and doing my 10,000 steps. So I would say, have I moved my body to feel better? Why am I doubting myself? What's happening here? Who's playing games with me, or
So
who's
checking
pushing?
in with yourself, checking in with how you are in that moment.
Exactly. Then how am I feeding my body? So what am I eating? You know, okay, I'm feeling low because yes, I drank more than 1 glass of red wine last night, and that doesn't work for me because I feel low now. So, okay, you know, I have to go on the treadmill now for an hour and a half. But while I'm on the treadmill, I'm going to call a friend. So I kind of move and talk and feel. I always check in with myself first. So I'll have to do my meditation. If I don't do my meditation, I haven't set my intention for the day.
Right.
I have to move my body, and I have to nourish my body. So how I eat, how I move, and how I feel is really important. So if I've eaten that big bowl of pasta, I know I'm bloated. I know my gut, and we know the microbiome, the gut is feeling unhappy. Therefore, I'm feeling low.
Right.
So become like your own pain investigator, having the time now to really take care. And it is a holistic approach. As a European osteopath, we look at the whole picture, how you feel, how you move, but also sit with your pain and first acknowledge, where is that pain? And is it because, as I said in the beginning, we need to rethink our lives, something needs to change. And now we have this time to concentrate about our emotions.
Yes. And that is a positive. I mean, despite what's going on around us, we have to work every day individually to find that little positive something that helps us. And for me, I'm a people person. So for me, sometimes it does take a conversation. It takes calling somebody and talking about something that interests me or something that's bothering me, and having that exchange and that connection does make me feel more positive when on days that I'm not feeling that. It really does. So I think it's important that we continue to, you know, connect and talk, because sometimes when you hear what somebody else is doing, even though you haven't been doing it, you're like, okay, all right, you're right. I'm motivated. I'm going to do that. And maybe you do it one day and it feels really good. And then you do it again, and then you do it again, and you start to build on that. And then it becomes a habit. Like, one of the things I love and what I admire about the way you live your life and your approach to wellness is that you are not, it's not black and white, and it's not so intense. It's just a thing you do, like eating and drinking water. You just do it. Like, this is our life. This is what's happening. This is what we're living in. We need to feel good, right? We need to feel good. We need to, when we finish our morning routine, whatever that is, and we take a shower and we blow dry our hair and we, you know, we look in the mirror and we just feel good. We take a deep breath. And I think that I know for me has been incredibly inspiring and motivating on days that I don't want it. You know, I think of you where I think about your approach to things, and I always feel more positive about finding the energy to do it, right? Because sometimes that's a part of it too, is that we all don't, you're tired.
I know you're tired, but you're always there. You'll send a text, you're always available. And, it's having that, because we always talk about healing is a journey. And it takes time to face your pain. And I can see there's people asking questions. How do I block the noise? How do I improve? And we're here to learn and evolve and do better.
Right.
And we're all still learning.
Yeah, that's one of the things that you and I talk about a lot too. That's what I meant by the black and white of wellness. You're not like, this is what you do and this is how it is. It's not that. It is a constantly evolving growth, and it's continuing to learn. I think one of the things that I know in this pandemic that I'm hearing from a lot of people that are sharing with me, and I feel, is that, the waves of the up and down of it, that there's sometimes that you can feel okay and slightly positive and looking forward to something. And then the next day, it's like the rug was pulled out from under all of us and we feel unstable. It's that emotional instability, and that causes all sorts of stuff. So some of us I know I have been for many years recently been doing a lot of inner work, energy work and healing work and work on myself and understanding myself. But a lot of people don't do that work. And so now we're all stuck at home and we're with ourselves a lot, and people are freaking out. They're like, wait a minute. I always had the distraction of my job or doing all these things and not having to like really look at myself and what life I'm living. And now I feel like maybe one of the positive things of the pandemic is that we're all getting to sort of stop and look around for a moment and say, well, as you said, what can I change? What can I do differently? What can I learn to do better, or what's not suiting me?
Exactly. But it can also be, writing that script again, or realizing, is my job really, serving me? Is this my passion? Is this my purpose? Do I love this? Is this keeping me alive and keeping me in the positive?
Right.
How am I back to myself? Am I working on myself? Am I working on my project? Am I working on my relationship? So everybody, is either stuck with their work or their partner. Something that needs to change, because if we don't, we can control our reactions to emotions and we can deal with them and face them. It is hard. I think it's hard for everyone. And, I see, for me, when people are in pain, I thrive. I always want to go deep and understand, when did this happen? Have you had a sit down with your partner? Have you actually kind of spoken about what your heart desires, or is it all in your mind?
Yeah.
And you've escaped it, and now you can cook a beautiful meal for your husband, and
right.
You can sit outside in the garden and talk about his next movie and what he wants to change, or like sit with all these questions, instead of rushing and just booking the next holiday and escaping or running away. And also I think what's important is you're okay to say, you know what, Vicky, today I'm not good. Something's off today.
Right.
I picked up somebody's energy. Somebody hit my button, and I've got this noise now. And we talk about it. We work out. We make a beautiful salad.
Yes.
And then we're like, whoa, that pain doesn't belong to me.
Right.
That is me.
I've told the children that as well. There have been days that, they've either been sad, they miss their friends, they feel a little out of it. And I feel like this time has allowed us to really just be honest and authentic about what we're going through. Like, we don't have answers as parents to everything. I don't know that we're going to go anywhere for the summer. Like, we might go to our backyard. We have no plans, and they can't see their friends. They're maybe going to begin to a little bit one-on-one, but it's not going to be what it was. But I think that that conversation is becoming more of it's okay to not be okay right now. So what can we do to fix that? So same thing with the children is like, you know, if you're feeling something, let's deal with it. Let's talk about how that feels right now. What can we do to fix it? You know, what can we, it usually involves something with sweets and chocolate chip cookies, but they're easy.
And that's an activity, cooking with our kids, you know,
Yeah.
having to like bake a cake
Yes. Yes.
and talk
Yes.
to see, you know, see how they feel and
Yes.
talk their emotions.
Yeah. Yeah. And talk about their emotions. I think that's been a huge gift during this time because I feel like I've gotten to know my children differently because mostly they're in school all day. They leave early in the morning and then their afternoon and you have your time with them. But now I'm like watching them in their classrooms and seeing how they interact with their friends in a different way. I feel like it's opened a door to a more we're part of their personal lives differently than we were. I feel like children, especially as they get older, are like, you know, too cool. They don't want to tell mom and dad anything. And now all of a sudden we're here all the time. So they have no choice. You know, but I definitely think that's been a positive thing is despite it was I would say in the first weeks of the pandemic, very overwhelming to be home all day and the kids learning and doing all that. But now I feel like we're stepping into a different phase. Somebody asked a question about, you know, as we talk about children, I'll ask you this, but are there things that you're doing to help your kids stay positive? I mean, you talked about, you know, cooking and we just mentioned this, but are there things that
I
you do
definitely spend
specifically?
with them.
You do what? I'm sorry.
I play basketball with them.
Okay. You have two boys. Two
Yes.
boys. Okay.
If they don't want to play together, I'll always play with them and, you know, show them my layups and we'll do our little
Right.
so I swim with them. I always have an activity. And
Okay.
it's fun. My youngest son, he loves to swim and we, you know, we spend hours talking in the pool. Or he'll want an Epsom salt bath and that's when, you know, he'll talk to me. So I find water very healing. So we definitely
Okay.
do our oils and our Epsom salt baths. And I have to wash, you know, the stress of the day a lot. So I do love my Epsom salt bath. So I think kids will mimic, you know, if you have something you exercise, so we'll either go for a walk, we'll play basketball, you know, and we could take breaks. We'll do half an hour basketball. They might want to go back on Fortnite. I'm like, okay, I might sit there watching a bit of Fortnite and
Fortnite. Oh
like,
my goodness.
okay, this is adventurous. There's all these colors here, and Travis
Yeah.
Scott is performing. Okay, all right. So I engage. I'm like, this is fun, and my son's like, you're cringy. I'm like, oh, what's cringy? This new thing that he keeps telling me I'm cringy. I'm like,
Is there
great.
is there a Greek word for cringy? Is there a
No,
Greek translation?
I don't know if he's listening now. Oh, somebody's like, Fortnite is the best game. Go, girl.
I know.
But
Let
what?
me see how. Um,
Oh,
yeah, but you know, I was going to say the bath situation for younger children is really helpful. One day, Leonardo was having an exceptionally just emotional day, missing his friends, and Lucia and I made him a hot bath and put some Epsom salt in, and we dimmed the lights. And she has this like a sky machine that makes stars. And
oh
so she
wow.
put it in the bathroom and we made him sit in there for 15 minutes and he was so calm. He
Wow.
just decompressed completely. And I think we all need a bit of that, like just, you know, taking a deep breath, grounding ourselves, reminding ourselves that we're here, we're on the planet, everything is okay. You know, we need to like reground ourselves sometimes because I think when we get into our own heads, it's very easy to kind of spin out emotionally. And I have felt that. I have felt that with a lot of friends who sometimes call me that I could feel them spinning. They're very, they're starting to fixate on one thing, whatever that is. And it's starting to make them, you know, and they don't say, how are you? Hi, how are you? Are you okay? How are you feeling? They just sort of, you know, and I think that we can all step back, as you said, and think about not just ourselves, but other people. thinking about others. I always tell my children, think about others. Think about, I know it's hard for you, but think about that nurse or the doctor or all the frontline workers that have to get up and they have to go to work. They have to step into spaces that are filled with illness and death and other things, and they have to come back home. I mean, people are sacrificing and going through a lot, and we all have to remember that. And I know that when I step out of myself and think of others, it's definitely, it makes things a little bit more grounding for me.
I
Right?
also, yes, I love that. I love that. And also, one thing I do with my kids before I go to bed is part of our meditation, prayer, gratitude prayer. You know, we do our little Greek thing, our Greek prayer. But then at the end, we pray for people and we ask for guidance.
Beautiful. That's so beautiful.
And we're grateful. And if we don't say what we're grateful for, we pray for people. And like, you know, even if that person, maybe we said the wrong thing to that person and they upset us now, and you know, you don't talk to this friend, it's okay. Let's just send something positive out there. Let's send them a prayer.
Right.
So I have my rituals, the meditation, the exercise, and the prayer before going to bed. It just sets them off. If they haven't had the Epsom salt bath, it's, you know, even if they're not home, I'll call them to do the prayer, no matter where I am in the world.
Right.
So we have the connection.
That's beautiful, Vicky. I mean, that's part of, I think, your spirituality and your grounding that you got from being raised in Greece, right?
Yes, yeah, my Greek heritage.
You're very connected to that, and you're very connected to, you know, your roots, and I think that's so important because I think that can bring us all, you know, a sense of well-being, feeling a part of something, having a familiarity with something, and a routine for children we know is huge. It's big for us. Like, we need it. We need to have a routine, and so certainly for the children.
In bed with your pajamas, it's okay, and cook with your pajamas, and meditate with your pajamas, and just be. You know.
Yeah. Well, I did wear pajamas for like 6 weeks. So now I'm like, I'm not wearing pajamas every day. I literally had to say to Eduardo one day, I'm like, please take off your pajamas. Like, I need to see you in something else. Like, just put on some clothes. I mean, all day long. It's like evening and you're having dinner in the pajamas. It was like
the pajamas.
That's super funny. Well, let's take some questions. Does anyone have specific questions for Vicky or myself about, thank you. Somebody wrote, that's a dope bookshelf. Thanks so much.
Reading, beautiful. Even
how does one start to meditate? Hold on, that one go by so quickly. How would one start to meditate if I haven't done it before? I find that I'm often in my own head stressing out. Do you want to answer that?
Great one, because all you need to do is literally, what I do is just close my eyes. I've set my intention. I want warmth and love in my heart. So I'll place my left hand onto my heart. I'll place my right hand to my diaphragm, and I'll just feel my breath. So I'm actually asking my body to observe my breath. So I'll scan my body. I do a scan. Even if there's things popping in and out of your mind, I'm angry with my husband, he did this, or my ex-husband, blah, 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 blah. I'm like, okay, I'm going to bring warmth and love into my heart. So it's kind of connecting the mind and breath. So you start scanning your body and just sitting with yourself. How does my body feel like now? Closing my eyes, sitting on this chair. You know, I feel grounded. I feel the chair. I feel my body sinking into the chair. And it's kind of like, as you scan your body and feel your breath moving through your body, you're creating that strength. Your breath is your life, is bringing in love. So I say, I breathe in all the love. I breathe out all the fear, the anger. I break away. It doesn't belong to me. So I start asking my mind, how does my body feel? And if that's going to take a few minutes and you fall asleep, that's fine. You needed to sleep. If it's just going to calm down your nervous system. And then the other thing, if we have time, is I'll go into my third eye and actually see myself. So I go in and ask myself to see myself as a little girl in a happy moment. So there's a memory in my brain. So I'll be swimming in the beautiful sea in Greece. So I literally close my eyes and visualize that I'm seeing myself laughing, running, splashing myself in the water. And then again, I'm connecting the emotion and I'm saying, I'm washing away this anger. Yes. You know, I kind of talk to myself. So I'm getting rid of those voices.
Right.
So I'm washing that pain that doesn't belong to me. I'm loving this moment. I'm breathing. I'm empowering myself. I'm positive and I'm grateful.
That's beautiful. That's beautiful. You see, that's why I call Vicky, because you get this energy back. And then you're like, yes, I'm going to go into my day and I'm going to feel amazing. And I'm going to make this work for me somehow. Yeah, a lot of questions about, you know, what do you do, or what advice do you give about like work anxiety, or when you're just sort of spinning out? But I think you just answered that. And you know, work anxiety, I think we all are having a lot of different types of anxiety. But I think you touched upon things that we can do to help that, right? I mean,
somebody's asking, I don't know if you saw that, I'm stressed even working from home. It was that higher up.
no, I'm stressed. What could children do to come back? No, but go ahead. Do you have an answer to that?
I think, listen, we don't know, you know, your home, you've got to love your home. So if there's anything you don't like about your home, maybe this is the time now, you know, to declutter and get rid of things you don't like.
Yeah.
And
Yeah.
it could be food in your kitchen, or it could be, you know, I had a stock of papers and I love to write and write and write, and I journal and I keep it. And then I'm like, I've written so much and now I've got to get rid of all this. My office was a mess, and I don't want to let go of these papers. And what if I forget? And this is so important. But even just getting rid of things, like reading things, getting rid of your, you know, if her office obviously is her home, I think create a beautiful space. You know, I'll always light a candle. I'll have some incense. I've got to change the mood. I'll open the doors.
Yes.
You know, create this.
Opening the doors is huge. Like opening windows and getting fresh air is so important. It really, and getting light. I mean, if you're working at home, I know my husband starts working very early at home and he's remotely working. And sometimes the whole day will pass and he hasn't even gone outside to just get some fresh air. And I tell him, you know, you got to go out for 10, 15 minutes, just go out, just get some vitamin D. It really helps sort of reset you. It's very important to do that. Yeah.
Do we have a bit more time for more questions?
Yes. Why don't we take one or two more? And then, well, somebody was just asking how long we're spending at home, but we are in LA and we are home all the time.
I know.
LA is,
we're used
aren't
to
you?
Yeah, I'm always home.
Yeah.
Either, you know, we love
We
our
go
home.
out to the market like once a week, but our restaurants are not open. Nothing is really open. A week ago, they started to open up the trails and stuff that you can walk, but you have to be careful. They're not too busy, you know, so we're home. We have been home since early March. I don't know how many days this has been already. Do you have any tips on anxiety or fixate or?
Who lives alone? Somebody's asking you any tips on somebody who lives alone. Did you read that?
Who lives alone? No, I didn't, but that's a good one.
To get
what are
out
your
of
thoughts?
a negative loop. And again, it's more self-reflection. It's learning to enjoy your own company and liking yourself.
Yeah.
You know, if it is something you've never really connected with, those simple pleasures. And I think some people were lonely in relationships and now they don't feel alone. And so liking your own company is a new thing, you know, because you can't go out for drinks and escape.
Right.
You want to really like yourself and love
Right.
yourself, kind to yourself and respect yourself. To be able to give to others, I think what's really important is to give yourself that love.
Yeah.
And to take care of yourself. I mean, for me, if I give myself a bit of love in the mornings with my meditation, or my yoga, I'm a better mom. I'm happier. I've, empowered myself for a better day. So yes, I've constantly got this dynamic flow of positivity, and I want to give it back. So I think creating rituals at home alone, where you either can meditate, do a yoga
Yeah.
pose,
Yeah.
start creating a routine for your self-care.
Yeah, that's really great advice. I mean, I think one of the things that, I've just witnessed in friends that are alone that I've been checking in with is that some of them were just struggling with that feeling of like, I'm alone. I have to eat every meal alone. How do I do this? And, I have a friend in Milan, and I have to say she has been extraordinary in how she has dealt with this. She has been alone for now, however many months. They couldn't even leave her apartment. And on her birthday, we called and did like a Zoom call, and she had gotten all dressed up. She had a gorgeous outfit on that she's not going to get to wear this season. And she made herself a great dinner. She had a wonderful bottle of wine, and I think that she just said, I'm going to have self-love. I'm going to make it special for me. I'm going to have things that I want, that make me happy. And I feel that she was also really generously giving out to a lot of people during this time that she felt a lot of loneliness. And so I really admire her, her, ability to do
Giving
that,
back.
because there's other people that are not having the same kind of energy to do that. So I agree with you. I think it's a time to self-reflect and really sort of go, okay, what things do I like about myself and what do I not? And how can I change this? How can we do this differently?
What do I want to change?
Yeah. Yeah.
This hasn't worked for me. This hasn't,
Yeah.
holding on to the anger about your brother or your mother, like maybe
Yeah.
this is the time to write that forgiveness letter. I keep talking about it, but I think it's time now to go deeper and into that deep dive of
Yeah.
knowing thyself.
Yeah, I agree with you. Couple questions that I've seen, and then we can wrap up. But
Yeah.
so people are asking about, how to deal with just, this being. There's a lot of people who are graduating college and high school, and they're seniors, and it's a bummer because you get to this place of having done all this work, and this should be a time of celebration and friends and enjoying moving into this next phase. And it's made people really sad. I know here in California, they have no graduations. They have canceled any type of graduations, which, I was surprised. They had one idea of like a drive-through where they can go in with their families, and they even canceled that. So,
Wow.
people are really bummed out about it. And I was just wondering, do you have any thoughts on that?
I feel, for me, when I graduated college, and obviously, yes, I did have my ceremony, I think it's more about, again, finding the time to keep hoping, keep dreaming,
Yeah.
knowing there is a better tomorrow, knowing that this, fingers crossed, hopefully very soon we'll find a vaccination and we will be looking at this and saying, wow. So for me, I'm always positive. I visualize things. It takes a year, it takes 2 years, it takes 3 years.
Yeah.
Dreams come true. So I never give up. I always say it. I keep saying it. I don't tell people things that I dream of.
Right.
I write it down. I talk to my God. I find the universe, and I just keep dreaming, keep believing. I don't allow the fear. I mean, I know it's hard and it's a difficult time, but these college kids will have so much opportunity, and maybe this is a time to just enjoy this moment with their families. I take care of a lot of college kids who were suffering with anxiety, and they didn't even have time to deal with it.
Right.
Stress, exams, didn't get into this college, but actually, well, maybe this wasn't meant to be for you now. You can take a year out, you can take 6 months out, or reapply,
Yes.
get into January. And maybe this was a little, as we say, healing is a journey, and maybe there's a little side road that you had to stop and rethink about this journey. So I always keep the positive. You graduated, you did it. I'm so proud of you. Let's celebrate together at home as you do with your Zooms, and keep giving back to people. Keep sharing your feelings, reaching out, and just keeping people alive and positive and dreaming and hopes. You know, I'm
No,
always.
and that's beautiful advice. And I think, you know, one of the questions I just read, and I think that that leads into that too, is just how do you deal with loss and grief during this time? There are people who have lost people that they cannot now go to a memorial. They're finding, you know, it hard to be able to, you know, they're alone dealing with this, and they can't see their family members to be able to grieve together. I think what you're saying now is also helps with that, is just being able to kind of find a way to remember those that we care about in ways, and connecting with people that we know knew them and celebrate them without the conventional way of having, let's say, a memorial, right?
Yes, and you know, for me, being Greek, we believe in the soul, and the soul never dies, and we believe
Right.
this.
Same here. Yeah.
You know, for me, I have this whole thing with, you know, when my grandma passed away, whenever I think about her, I'd take a hike or I'd go for a swim and I'd see a butterfly, and that was my positive message of the day. So connecting with nature is really helpful. If you don't pray or don't meditate, just go out and enjoy moments when you don't feel alone, but because you feel grounded, you're close to nature. You could go for a hike and actually talk to the people that you've lost. Like, so I have a connection with my grandma. I know she will send me a butterfly. That's my answer. Yes, I'm going to do that. I'll take that job. So I don't know. I look at the signs and signals. It sounds a bit crazy. It's this whole Greek philosophy of like connecting.
It's not
with your
crazy because it's not crazy because it's your culture. It's what you believe in. And it's also something that brings you enormous peace in your life. So I'm one of those people that thinks that whatever brings you peace in your heart, then it's not crazy. If it brings you that, if you feel that, if that gives you a sense of peace and grounding, and as you said, you know, whatever it is that you need to move through something, I feel like none of that is crazy. Never.
Connecting with the dots and always thinking of all the beautiful memories of the person who's passed away. And, you know, sometimes even writing a letter to them, writing something, you know, and sealing it.
Yes,
You know?
I've done that.
You've done that. Oh, I love that.
That's a good
you
one.
know,
That's a good one. You're right.
Analyst, what was his name? Jacques Lagan, who wrote all about the forgiveness letter, or the letter. Just seal it. It doesn't matter who's watching. You know, in my world, I've released that emotion. I feel great after journaling, writing that letter, and that's my way of letting go.
Yeah. No, I think that that's really, really a beautiful way. Writing it down, sending it out into the world, and I think that that can also be something that we do even just in our own journaling. Like, I think that journaling about how we're feeling, if we're having a particularly low day, you can kind of write what that is and sort of go, but I want to be feeling this stuff. And somehow by writing it, there is a release that we can then acknowledge at least what we're feeling, and then say, okay, but I'm going to push that aside, and I'm going to remember what Vicky said, and I'm going to get up and I'm going to go meditate, or I'm going to go force myself to take a walk, or I'm going to do something today that just makes me feel good. And hopefully day by day, we will move past this, and we will all be a little bit stronger, and we will all be a little more resilient, which we're all learning. And you know, I think that, you know, the most important thing is it's having a connection and talking, just talking about what's going on, and talking about, you know, what we need to let go, and not holding it all in, because I think that's when we get sick, is if we hold all this stuff inside and it builds up, you know. Well, is there anything else that you see that we should answer? Should we close this?
Yeah. I can talk to you for hours.
I know. You are so wonderful. And I hope, I thank you for getting on here. And I thank you for sharing all of your experience and your knowledge and your energy and your, you know, I highly recommend, as you can tell, Vicky, read her book, look at her online. It's vickyvlachonis.com.
Yes.
Right?
The body doesn't lie, because it doesn't.
The body doesn't lie. And, you know, and I just recommend the book, and also just all the work that you're doing. And I thank you for all of your wonderful knowledge and positivity. I really need it, and I'm sure other people do too. So thank you.
You send
Thank you.
lots for having me.
Okay. Love seeing you.
Hey.
Bye. Bye, everyone. Thank you so
Bye.
much. Thanks for being here. Lots of love, and stay
Yeah.
positive, stay happy. Ciao.
Ciao.
Ciao, ciao. Ciao, ciao, ciao. How do I do this? What?
So you close it and then you want to save it.